Okay, looks good. Okay, welcome. Week 5. We're just building off everything we've been doing. Whole body movement this week again. Last week we did the same thing. This week's going to be some similar movements, just a little bit different on how we do them, but we're going to still hit neck, thoracic spine, low back, hips, probably some calves, legs, all of that. And it'll be about same time, 30, 35 minutes. So, all right, let's get started with our warm up. This. I've got a stiff neck, so I'm going to start. We're going to start with some neck stretches to start. So what you're going to do, you're going to sit up nice and tall. You're going to go hand on the top of the head, and then you're going to also bring it to the back of the head. So top, back of the head. I'm just going to grab there, and I'm going to pull my head towards my right hip, so down and out. And when I do that, I'm getting a stretch right through the outside of my neck in the back right here. So we're going to hold that. When you're doing this, make sure that you keep your left shoulder down so that you get more of a stretch through there. Going to hold for about 30 seconds. Okay, and then we'll switch. So top of the head and the back. Keep your right shoulder down now. Pull your head towards your left hip and feel that stretch through the back and the side of the neck. Whenever you're stretching your neck, wherever you're tight, if you want to stretch that spot out, you just have to do the opposite movement usually. So if you're tight back through here, that forward, down, and out motion, it's going to stretch that spot. If you're tight more in your upper trap, you just go more laterally, so ear towards your shoulder. Okay, now we're going to stretch out upper trap, so it'll be just as I was talking about. You're pulling your head so that your left ear is going towards your left shoulder. You're going to hold that 30 seconds each. All right, and then switch. I was driving around one of those side-by-side, they call them rhinos, this weekend up by Lake Pillsbury. We were going through a really bumpy creek bed, so now my neck is a little achy. All right, so right head or right ear towards your right shoulder, pulling it straight over. 30 more seconds with this. All right, good. So those two neck stretches, those are two of my favorites for static stretching. Let's get into our warm up. Let's start with just some child's pose with the foam roller. We've done child's pose just on the ground, reaching different directions. I like to mix it up and do some with the foam roller so that you can kind of roll your hands out. And open that up, sit back into it, and hold that stretch for, let's hold it for 20 seconds, and we'll just do about 5 of them with that 20-second hold. Readjust, get them back down into it. My shoulders are a little tight too, so I'm feeling it there and I'm feeling it in the low back. All right, that's 2. We're going to do 3 more. Two more. Last one. Good, let you finish those up. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay on this foam roller, but we're gonna lay a long way. So tailbone is gonna be down here, back of the head is gonna be here on the foam roller. So you're gonna have to work on your balance a little bit. Lay all the way down on there, make sure that you're nice and supported by the foam roller. You can keep your hands down on the ground if you want. And we're gonna start with just some side to side rolling, back and forth. Gonna do this for about 30 seconds. So this is just working those paraspinals, those rhomboids. So we're going from the spine to the inferior border of the scapula. All that muscle in there, we're just trying to loosen it up. 30 seconds of rolling. Side to side, just kind of shifting your weight, keeping your hands down for some balance. Got about 10 more seconds, and then we'll switch to the next one. All right, so now we're just gonna lay on this. Lay nice and flat, spine supported, and we're gonna keep your hands down. We're gonna do shoulder rolls backwards. We're just up, back, and down. Rolling those shoulders back. You can have your arms up if you want. Whatever's more comfortable or whatever you feel like you're digging into their shoulders with most, or the scapula, sorry. So for me, I like this angle right here. That way it kind of opens the scapulas up. The farther down your hands are, it's going to kind of close everything down. It's like to keep everything open. We're going to do 20 of those backwards. Should have about 10 more. Last one. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we'll start with our arms up. We're going to do scap squeezes, so pull those shoulder blades down and back like you're trying to put them in the opposite back pocket. So we're pinching that foam roller with our shoulder blades. If you're really tight right there, like me, it's not going to feel the best because you're doing a little bit of an active release with those muscles. You're pinching those trigger points into the roller. I'll do 15 of those, nice and easy. Hold for maybe a couple seconds. And all my elbows are doing are just kind of guiding the movement down towards my hips. But I'm trying to keep all the movement coming from my shoulder blades. That down and in squeeze. Make sure your shoulders aren't coming up towards your ears. Okay, everybody should have about 15 right there. Next, what we're gonna do are, they're called scissors. So you're just gonna go one arm down towards the ground, one arm up overhead, switching back and forth as you go. And we're gonna do about 30 of these. So lots of moving. Get things rotating in the scapula, get those muscles working, opening up the shoulders and the chest. I love the foam roller. I feel like you could do a whole class just on foam roller stuff. Lots to do. About halfway there. Do another 15. Make sure your feet are nice and wide so you balance on the roller. Might take a little practice to get this one down with the balance. All right, so now we'll slide off carefully. Okay, so we'll start with neck and upper back now. Go all the way on your back here. You're going to start with a little bit of a chin tuck. So like we've talked about before, imagine there's a wooden dowel going through each ear right here. That is going to be your pivot point for the chin tuck. So nothing should move there. You're just bringing your chin down just a little bit. So keeping that tuck position. And then what I want you to do is I want you to push your head back into the ground. So if you're on a hardwood floor, I'm sorry, find something softer or push into a yoga pad. Push and hold for 10 seconds. And we'll do 10 of these. 10-second holds, keeping that chin tucked the whole time. It's going to turn on those muscles in the back of the neck. Work on extension of the neck. Battle that poor posture that everybody's starting to fall into, being on the computers all the time, sitting down on the couch, having that head in that forward head posture. So we're battling back with that, working on that extension. 10-second holds. Make sure you feel this in your neck and not in your low back. If you feel it in your low back, you're pushing way too hard. Should be it. It's hard. I always tell people 10 pounds of pressure, but that's kind of hard to gauge. So about a 2 or a 3 on the intensity scale, pushing back. 10 out of 10 is push as hard as you can. Should have about 5 more. Make sure you're breathing. Two more. Last one. Good, finish those up. All right, next we're going to do the rotations with the chin tucks again. So if you miss this one, you are keeping the chin tuck, a little bit of a chin tuck. We're going to do a full chin tuck at the end, but little chin tuck. Rotate your head as far as you can to the left. Try to touch your chin to your collarbone. Don't open your mouth when you do it. Try to keep your mouth closed and get more of that flexion of the neck. Okay, so we'll start back over, chin tuck, rotate to the right, and chin tuck, bring it back, and keep going. Chin tucks back and forth, full rotations. We're gonna do, let's do about 20 of these, so 10 each way. About halfway there. Oh, I open my mouth. Keep your mouth closed. One more each side. Good. Let everybody finish those up. Then next, we're going to go on our hands and knees. So in that quadruped position. All right, so we're going to sit back onto the heels, hand behind the head, or if that hurts your shoulder, hand behind the back. I'm going to go hand behind the head, rotate as far as I can, back to neutral, and rotate again. So we're going to do 10 of those each way. Keep going with those. Just going to make sure nobody had any questions. Okay. Keep going with those, 10 each way. All right, should be about 10. Let's switch. We'll hit the other side. Good. Should be about 10. Ankle this down again. All right, everybody should about have those. All right, next one. If you've ever seen me for a shoulder injury, you have probably done these. Floor angels, they're called. So you're going to be in this 90-90 position. If your arms won't go all the way down, just get as close as you can. Try to get fingertips touching. Where you're going to go arms out in that 90-90 position. Shoulder blades, everything's touching the ground right here. Wrists, fingers, elbows, forearms, all that. Everything's going to stay touching the whole time. What you're going to do is you're going to slide your hands up nice and slow, touching the ground the whole time. You're going to go as high as you can up above your midline with everything touching. And then slide back down, that 90-90 position, and then back up. This is working on scapular mobility, shoulder mobility. Sometimes it could be a little torturous if you're really tight. I like to do this against the wall too. The wall is a little bit harder because you're going against gravity. We're going to do about 15 of these, nice and easy. Everything's touching the whole time. If you can't touch all the way above your head, just go as far as you can. Gonna do 5 more. 2 more. All right, and then come back to neutral. Take a deep breath, relax. All right, next one, we're going to do some hamstring. We're going to do hamstring kicks with an ankle pump. So let me get to where you can see my legs. So the hamstring kick, so you're going to kick it all the way up. But once you get all the way up, you're going to do a little ankle pump too. So kick and then pump. Sorry you can't see my foot right now, but kick all the way up so that you feel that in the back of the leg through that hamstring. Pump the toe at the top, get that sciatic nerve moving through the tissue of the leg and the hamstring. We're going to do 20 kicks with a pump at the end. So, call this flossing. Flossing the nerve, mobilizing the hamstring. Someone has a low back, sciatic nerve getting pinched in the tissue. This is a really good neural flossing to unstick it in that hamstring. All right, we got about 10 more on this side, then we'll switch. And again, I'm kicking my leg all the way up, but then I'm getting that ankle pump at the top. All right, finish those up, and then we'll switch to the other side. Should have a couple left. All right,
Hey, Billy, because we can't see your foot, is it flexion at the top or extension with the foot?
Flexion, so your toes are going down like that.
Oh,
So you're kicking up like this,
okay.
and then when it's all the way up there, your toes are just going down like that.
Thank you.
And then coming back. Yep. All right, we'll do the other side, 20 of those, kicking out and pushing down. So when you do this, when you're doing the hamstring mobilization part, if you feel that in your calf while you're doing it, then you're getting some neural tension. A lot of people, they'll do a hamstring stretch and they'll hold it, and I'll ask them, okay, where do you feel that stretch? And they'll tell me their calf. And we're not really stretching their hamstring at that point. We're stretching nerves and fascia, and we're not hitting where we want to hit. So I'll have them do this instead so that we loosen that up so that we could get to that hamstring tightness. All right, 10 more. Kick it up until you feel that hamstring pulling, get a good stretch, and then pump that toe at the top. Toes going down. Should have a few left. All right. Let everybody finish that one up. And then after that, what we'll do is we'll do some fallouts. We've been mixing up the fallout. So one time we did it for the low back, one time we did it for the hips. Now we're going back to the low back. So you're going to go feet a little bit wider than your hips. And I want you to let your legs fall all the way out. So trying to touch your knee to your opposite ankle. You're letting your hips come off the ground a little bit, opening up, and we're just going to go back and forth, working on lumbar rotation right now. Just getting things moving, going as far as you can. You might feel this in your hips if they're really tight, but we want as much rotation as we can so that it goes up into the low back and it gets it moving. This is one of my go-tos whenever, if my back locks up and it's really, really tight, I'll get on the ground and I'll try to hammer like 20 to 30 of these out. We're going to do 20 right now, so 10 to each side. Even though it probably doesn't feel good while I'm doing it, whenever you get that initial spasm, but this one always helps to make it feel better later. And we're holding for maybe like 2 to 3 seconds each way. No big holds this time. Should be about halfway there, about 5 to each side.
I'm getting a good quad stretch with these.
Are you? You got tight quads and tight hips probably. All right, got a few more. One more each way. All right, take a second, take a nice deep breath, relax. All right, next we're going to get into a piriformis stretch. So you're going to we'll start with right leg. Grab the top of that right leg, pull it up and over. So your aim point is a little bit to the outside of your left shoulder, across your body. Should feel that stretch. So should feel that stretch right through that piriformis muscle. So in the glute, pull and hold. Hold it for 30 seconds. Let you guys keep going with that. 30-second hold. This one's really good if that sciatic nerve's getting hung up through there. I'll get down and I'll do this stretch. I'll do it in sitting. Many ways to hit it. All right, should be about 30 seconds. Let's grab the opposite knee, pull it towards the right, outside of the right shoulder. If you're getting hip pinching in the front, just make sure you go a little more lateral, so to the side. And we'll hold 30 more seconds like that. Keep holding that. Let's see how we're doing on time. Good. Should have about 10 more seconds with that one. All right. So now we'll go into kneeling right here. And we'll go Make sure that one knee is in a little bit, so hip is in extension, knee's gonna be behind the hip. Other knee, 90 degrees, and we're gonna lean into that. We're gonna do a hip flexor stretch. So we're gonna hold it for about 20 seconds. We'll do a few of these to each side. Leaning into that, getting that hip flexor to stretch through there. So the farther your knee's back, the more hip extension you have, the more you should feel that through that hip flexor. If your knee's really getting bugged by this, just put a pad under it or do it on the couch, something nice and soft. And then we're just shifting our hips forward. So you could sit up nice and tall and do it. You can lean into your knee a little bit. Just trying to find that sweet spot to where you get a good stretch through the hip. And then from there, we'll rock into that. Keep that leg straight. We'll hold for hamstring stretch or posterior chain stretch. You can push your knee down if you want. Just don't push down too hard. Just nice and easy for more of a stretch. That'll be about 10, 15 seconds. We'll rock back into that. We'll go into that hip flexor stretch again. (20, 30 more seconds. We'll do about 3 of these on each side. At home, you could do 3 to 5, or as long as your knee can handle it. All right, and then let's lean into that again. Keep your balance. All right, now rock back into it. One more hip flexor stretch on the right. Make sure that your knee's not flared out, so it's not away from your body, it's not too close. You want it to be a straight line. So your hip, knee, and your ankle should all be in a straight line. You should be going straight away from it for the best stretch. All right, last posterior chain stretch. Ooh, my hamstring is tight. All right, let's switch. We'll hit the other side. So again, knee back, 90 degrees with the other one. Shift into that, and we'll hold. Again, we're going for the hip flexors. Getting that stretch through there. Then we'll rock it back. Hamstring, posterior chain stretch. Might feel this in your calf a little bit. Might feel this in your hamstring. Back of the knee. Stretching everything out for a little bit. Not quite as long as of a hold. Okay, we'll rock into it again. Hip flexor. And rock it back. And one more hip flexor. And back. Last one of those.
Hey, Billy, I have a curiosity here. When I bring my hips back like that, I get a lot of sensation on the adductor of the leg in front.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, what would cause that?
You're getting it, so with this leg right here, you're getting it on the inside.
Correct.
You might have your leg a little too far out, flared out. Try to bring it in towards the body a little bit and see if that helps.
Yeah, that does bring it back into the hamstrings and the glute a little bit more.
Yeah.
I
Your adductors might be a little bit tight. The farther you have your leg outwards, away from your body, the more you're going to feel it in those adductors.
Totally. Yep. Okay.
And I'll actually use that as an adductor stretch at times too. I think we've done it before with the leg flared way out.
Yep. Yeah, man, tight adductor on that side.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, we got one more. This will be the fun one. Let me see if I could get whole body in this. Pretty close. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go arms up over my head, and I'm gonna squat down as deep as I can, all the way into that, see how far down I can go. From there, I'm gonna grab bottom of my feet and do a reverse toe touch. So this is a big movement. If the squat hurts the knees or if it hurts the hips, then just try to do the reverse toe touch. So we'll do a 20-second hold with the reverse toe touch, followed by coming up nice and easy with the low back. Then arms straight overhead again. Keep them overhead as we go deep into that squat again. Come down, grab, and reverse toe touch. And hold for 20 seconds. We're going to do about 5 of these. I like to throw in the squat just to see, you know, I'm checking if my hands are coming down as I'm doing the squat, if I'm way out here, or if I can keep my arms up. If I can keep my arms up, then my mobility, whole body mobility is actually pretty good. But if I'm to the point where my hands are way out here, something's going on, something's tight in my upper body, could be my lats, could be my shoulders, scapula, something like that. And it tells me, okay, I need to work on some of that. Or if I'm unbalanced and I can't go quite as far down, it's going to be in my lower body that's restricting it. So let's do a few more. Arms up, squatting down as deep as you can. If you have any knee injuries or hip injuries, again, don't do the deep squat if it hurts. Grab the bottom of those feet, reverse toe touch, and hold 20 seconds. I like to finish mobility exercises with big movements. That way, if I'm warming up to play golf or if I'm warming up for a sport, you're getting more into that functional movement that you're about ready to replicate. All right, one more, come up nice and slow. Last one, deep squat, arms straight up. Take some notes on how that was. Hands on the inside, bottom of the feet. Reverse toe touch. And hold for 20 seconds. And then back up nice and slow. All right, so how are we doing on time? Oh, we did good. That was a little longer. That was about 40 minutes. But again, hitting everything. Does anybody have any other questions about anything we just did? No? Awesome. Okay, well, I will upload this onto our Santa Rosa Physical Therapy YouTube page, and then I'll email it to you guys too. So I will talk to you guys week 6. It'll be one last one, same format as the last couple weeks, but we'll close everything up, make sure you guys don't have any questions, and then you guys will have 3 good routines.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate
All right.
it.
No problem. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You too.
Thanks. Yeah, your mic's not working. There's a chat option too on the bottom. Let's see. Quick question.